Hey everyone, it's John here from MCKAY back with another video, and this video is on Ryan O'Reilly as a potential rental. The Blues are struggling. Could Ryan O'Reilly get traded on the last year of his deal? And yes, Adrian Dater is suggesting in his article here to the Avalanche, a former Av and Ryan O'Reilly, now the Blues captain. But I mean, it's possible for Colorado. I think Colorado is one of the potentials here. If we look at the Blues cap friendly, and obviously we know the Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou contracts, but the two pending UFAs that I'm looking at here, well, you could look at four, but more so two, and that would be Ryan O'Reilly and Tarasenko. I'm going to talk about Tarasenko more in other videos. I want to focus on Ryan O'Reilly here because I feel like I've talked about Tarasenko and his trade requests and a bunch of stuff in the past. But Ryan O'Reilly, it's an interesting one here. $7.5 million for this year, and then he's a UFA in the summer. If the Blues continue to struggle and are not in a playoff conversation or borderline, I could see them trying to cash in on a Ryan O'Reilly return here and try to move in the younger direction. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. A guy like Colton Parayko, who's a long-term guy and such a risky contract at this point, I think the Blues should try financially to be careful here. And I wonder if they try to maybe trade some money away or if they just trade their rentals and get assets and then hope guys like Parayko turn it around next year. We'll see, because even Buchnevich is struggling. Like, Kyrou obviously has been struggling. Robert Thomas, the production, we're not seeing it right now. So, Blues land, like, don't talk about Leafs, don't talk about the Sens. Blues are panicking in a bigger way because they looked at this team this year, and yes, the Sens wanting to be a playoff team, the Leafs consistencies. Even the Penguins fans, it's legit to panic because you have Sid and you don't have Sid for, I would say, quite a few years longer, maybe a handful of years max. But the Blues, man, it's hard to see because you got younger players, you got a good core, and it's been a bad struggle with the Blues. So when I look at this team, Ryan O'Reilly and Tarasenko are the two obvious ones to move. Maybe Barbashev. So if not the Avalanche, I think if we were going through the teams, I think a team like the Dallas Stars could look at a Ryan O'Reilly. If we're talking about division teams, and I don't see like a team like Winnipeg or a team like Nashville getting in on this. I really don't see like another team in the Central that a lot of people have talked about and doing well this year potentially is a team like the Minnesota Wild, but they've struggled at times. I don't see them going after a Ryan O'Reilly. So the two teams would be the Stars and Avalanche in the Central. But again, are the Blues really trying to trade in the Central? So slide those two teams across. I'm looking at the Atlantic and saying the Toronto Maple Leafs could make a move like this. I know it's Leaf land. It's the conversations always. But I think if the Leafs were to see the Blues and retain 50%, move Kerfoot or Hall, give the Blues prospects and picks, it could be a potential. O'Reilly as the third-line center would be unreal for a shutdown line, and you can slide Kampf down to the fourth line. I think another team that could heavily look at this is the Florida Panthers. I think the Panthers and how they're seeing their team right now, if you had that option at any point of putting Ryan O'Reilly in there, and you could have the versatility of having Lindell at times on the wing or Sam Bennett on the wing. Obviously, you want to keep those guys at the center, but O'Reilly would be a guy that is a playoff performer, a proven guy, a proven Conn Smythe guy, a cup guy. If the Panthers want to get it done in the playoffs, yeah, they don't really need a center, but they need a guy like Ryan O'Reilly. The only other team, I would say in the Atlantic Division that could look at a Ryan O'Reilly, but it's just if they're ready and they have a few former teammates of Ryan O'Reilly would be the Red Wings. If the Red Wings were in a playoff conversation come like February, I feel like the Red Wings, Stevie Y could look to the Blues and be like, let's make it happen. And Ryan O'Reilly could immediately play with former teammates like a Perron, right? So there's a few other guys there, Huso, Sundqvist, but Perron would be interesting and maybe be the guy to kind of talk to O'Reilly, be like, you're going to love it here? We'll see. Metro Division, it's tough, but I would say there's a couple in there that would intrigue me. I wonder if a team like the Rangers would go calling, but it just depends on who would go back. Would a guy like Hedl go back the other way maybe? But the Rangers could use a veteran like that. The Hurricanes, I mean, they have Stastny now. They got a veteran like that. But again, a former Blue. The Hurricanes might go calling and be like, let's bring Ryan O'Reilly and have that center depth in the middle. You could always, you know what? I wonder if a guy like Kotkaniemi could be part of this deal in terms of cap, in terms of making it make sense. And then you have Aho and O'Reilly as your top two guys. That wouldn't be bad. So that one's interesting. But I think a couple other teams, I mean, if you're looking at the Pacific Division, I don't know if Edmonton would be in this conversation, but I mean, they have their centers. Calgary has their centers, but oh my, Ryan O'Reilly would be a center guy. But I'm just ripping through teams here. I do think my top three teams for O'Reilly, or top four, would be like a Carolina, Florida, Toronto, Colorado. Again, I don't know if the Blues are trying to trade with the Avs, but it's an interesting conversation, and I do want to hear from you guys. So let me know what you think. Could the Ryan O'Reilly trade rumors heat up if the Blues keep struggling? We'll see what happens. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, and the notification bell, and we'll see you on the next video stream. Peace.